Neoma stood quietly at the back of her mother's kitchen, arms folded, eyes fixed on the clay pot bubbling over a wood fire. The scent of yukazi and ajayari curled into the air, rich and earthy. The smoke trailed lazily upward and disappeared through the open window. Her mother, Mama Nwakigo, stirred with precision, humming a tune as old as the mortar sitting in the corner of the room. To the people of Yumuz, Mama Nwakigo was more than a widow and mother of 4, she was a legend. No one could prepare a pot of onugbu like her, not even the most sought-after caterers in Oeri. People said her food could silence crying babies and rekindle dying marriages. Some said it wasn't just talent, it was something else. Something older than her years, something inherited. Neoma, her youngest daughter, believed none of those village tales. She saw only a tired woman who worked too hard and aged too quickly. Still, curiosity lingered like smoke in her throat, especially after what she found 3 nights ago. The family had gathered to mourn the passing of Nzedi Juru, the oldest man in the village. As tradition demanded, they brought food. That night, Mama prepared ofo soup and pounded yam. While helping clean afterward, Neoma moved the heavy stone beneath the old cooking bench, and something shifted. She reached in and pulled out a cloth-wrapped bundle. Inside was a book. Not just any book, it was old, bound in leather that smelled of pepper and rain. There were no titles on the cover, just strange carvings in Zubaidi script and palm oil stains soaked deep into the pages. Recipes filled the pages, but they weren't like the ones in her school's home economics textbook. These were alive. One page read, Takama man's wrath, mixigasi, utazi, and the tears of a grieving goat. Another, for the barren woman, boil okra, bitter leaf, and ash from a sacred flame. Some recipes had warnings, do not cook under the full moon. Others bore symbols of ancient deities and faded ink drawings of rituals. She was scared, but also captivated. She had hidden the book under her mattress, but it refused to be forgotten. The next morning, she confronted her mother. Mama, where did you get that book? She asked, careful to keep her voice low. Mama Nwakigo didn't respond at first. She kept stirring the soup, her eyes fixed on the swirling leaves. I hoped you'd never find it, she said finally. That book is not for children. It chooses its reader. Neoma frowned. Did it choose you? A sigh escaped her mother's lips. She reached over and took the wooden spoon out of the pot, setting it down slowly. My mother cooked with that book. Her mother before her. It is not just for food, it is for balance, for healing, for justice. But it is dangerous when used with pride or greed. That's why I hid it. But you're the best cook in Yumuz, Neoma said softly. Because of the book? No. The book only guides. It cannot give what you don't already carry inside. That night, Neoma couldn't sleep. She kept replaying her mother's words. What did it mean to be chosen? What if she just tried one recipe, just one? She waited until everyone slept. Then she crept to the backyard, lit a fire, and opened the book. She chose a recipe titled, To Know the Heart of a Stranger, Cook Beans with Onions, Pepper, and Leaves from a Bitter Tree. She had seen those leaves near the yum barn. She gathered the ingredients and cooked the dish slowly, the way her mother taught her, respectfully, with silence and patience. When it was ready, she ate one spoonful. Nothing. She waited. Then, suddenly, her vision blurred. She heard voices not her own. Memories, foreign, scattered, flooded her mind. Fear gripped her chest. She saw the face of her best friend, Adalbi, crying under the orange tree. Heard her brother's secret prayer for their father's return. Felt her teacher's shame over stolen exam papers. The hearts of strangers revealed. Neoma dropped the spoon. She spent the next few days sick, sweating, restless, whispering in her sleep. Mama Nwakigo knew. She didn't scold her, just sat by her side and fed her warm pap and yubu soup. When Neoma recovered, she returned the book to her mother. I thought I could handle it, she said. Her mother nodded. The first lesson is humility. You have passed it. From then on, Neoma was allowed to assist in more serious cooking. Not just grinding and washing, but seasoning, tasting, learning the old ways. She learned that a pot of soup was not just a meal, it was a message, an offering, a prayer. One day, a young man from another village came to Yumuz. He was the son of a chief, tall, polished, and charming. He claimed to be interested in investing in local farming. Everyone adored him, but something about him felt wrong. Mama asked Neoma to cook that evening. Use the book, she said, handing her the worn leather bundle. She chose a recipe for truth. To unveil the liar's tongue, cook rice with garden eggs, scent leaf, and the water from a still well. She served the man herself. As he ate, his smile slowly faded. Then, like a drum breaking, he began to confess his lies, his fraud, the real reason he came. Shocked, the villagers sent him away before harm could be done. From that day, the people began to look at Neoma differently, not just as Mama Nwakigo's daughter, but as someone chosen, someone gifted. Years passed. Mama Nwakigo eventually passed the book on to Neoma officially, during a quiet ceremony under the Adara tree. She placed it in her hands with care. Remember, she said, you are not the cook. You are the vessel. The real magic is not in the book, it's in how you use it. Neoma nodded. She now understood what it meant to feed not just bellies, but spirits. And so, the girl who once questioned tradition became its guardian. The magic cookbook, still stained and worn, lived on not as a secret, but as a legacy.